Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming from, you guessed it, Watchdogs Legion in, you guessed it, rainy London. And here we are running through the streets of rainy London. There's a song there somewhere. So today I just wanted to make a little video about something that's come up in the gaming world literally in the last day. So it won't be a very long video because it's not a very long topic, I don't think. It is a very long topic, but I'm not going to say much about it. So the thing I wanted to talk about today is the closure of Game Informer by GameStop. Now, if you're not aware, Game Informer is a long time magazine review site. It was a physical magazine as well that reviews games, talks about issues in gaming, and it was owned and taken over by GameStop. I'm not sure when, but it wasn't recently, and they've just closed it down. And Game Informer was going, I think it's 33 years. So that's a very long time. Apparently, the people at Game Informer didn't know they were being closed down until GameStop turned up and said, you're closing down. Some of them were on holiday, some of them were on work assignments, and no one knew they were closing down, which is kind of typical for the scummy game industry when they lay off people in publishers, laying off people in really good publishers. They've made a fantastic game and then they suddenly lay off half the staff or close them down completely. It's a common theme in gaming in general, unfortunately. Gaming companies aren't just horrible and scummy to the consumers, they're just generally horrible and scummy in general. But that's bad enough. They also released a statement supposedly from, just get out the main street. They released a statement supposedly from Game Informer, which wish people thanks for supporting them and that kind of nonsense, but apparently no one at Game Informer wrote that and they've denied having anything to do with it. So obviously GameStop just set up something to write to cover themselves without giving anyone in Game Informer who might have wanted to say something a bit more spicy about what happened any chance to say anything. But that's bad enough. It's horrible, it's not nice. It's like all these things that happen in the world and in gaming where, you know, people are laid off, people lose their job, it's unfair for whatever reason, and of course that's a very bad aspect. But that's not really what I wanted to say, because that happens a lot, unfortunately, and I don't make a video every time a developer or publisher shuts down a studio, which is equally sad. The thing that's really bad in this is that they've also completely deleted or blocked both, I think, the Game Informer site. So now all those 33 years of reviews and research can't be accessed by anybody, which is actually dangerous and scary because, number one, it's scummy because I can't argue whether GameStop made a loss from Game Informer. I don't know whether it financially benefited them. I'm sure it did, because otherwise they wouldn't have closed it. So I'm not going to argue whether it was financially a good decision for them or not. It's a horrible decision, but I can't argue the finance of it because I don't know it. But what I can say for sure is that blocking and removing the site for access doesn't financially benefit them. It's just a scummy, mean-spirited thing to do. And the thing that's scary is that in the modern world with so much digital media, but digital so much everything really, so much of our cultural history now is digital. And in the past, ancient history, for example, you know, it still happened all the time. In ancient Egypt, the new pharaoh wanted to purge the last pharaoh, so they go around smashing all their statues and knocking their faces off all the statues and knocking down their temples. And, you know, it happened in medieval times. Let's get rid of all the coins and all the books that connected with the last king or the last emperor. It happened lots of times in history. It's not a new thing. But then it was very difficult. You had to go down and smash off all the faces of the idols, or knock down the temples, or burn the castles, or burn the books. And some of it always survived because you couldn't get rid of it all. And that's why we know they did that, because some of it survived. But now you can just press a button, and 33 years of cultural history of gaming is just gone. 33 years of work by the people who worked on Game Informer is completely gone, just by someone pressing a button and saying, that's what I want to do. And they had no reason to do it. They didn't care or ask or have any feeling that they shouldn't do it because there was anything about it other than it was just like let's just do that. And that's history gone. And that ties in with other things in gaming, which is where they not often, but it's happened recently, it's happened more recently, and it's happening more, where a game from the past, they've decided to stop access, so you can't play it anymore. They've removed odd games from people's libraries. although you paid for it, so you can't play it. And again, in reality, those games are now gone from history because you can't play them. You can't, because there's no physical disc. You can't actually do them because they were digital. And it's like some live service game where they just stop access and they get rid of the live service support completely, and then they close the servers, so that game's gone. So it happens often, and the bigger the thing it happens to, like Gaming Inform with 33 years of gaming history, the more scary it is, because that's gaming history culture gone. It's not just a game, which is also gaming history culture, it's actually history. And when you apply that to that, it could be applied to anything. It could be applied to a news site. It could be applied to someone's whole Facebook. It could be applied to anything that holds memories and history that's important. And yeah, I'm not saying Game Informer held world-shattering archives of things that were important in the world, just like your local newspaper may not, but these copies of your local newspaper that survive, even if it goes and closes, and people can still access it. But the problem with things online and digital things is people can press a button and it's completely gone and no one can access it. And it's a scary premise to do that, especially to do it like GameStop have done with Gaming Informer for no reason other than they just wanted to be spiteful and horrible, and they didn't care basically about the history of Gaming Informer, about all those people that have worked on it, all the reviews that people could still go back and use in the future. They just did it because they wanted to be bloody minded, and we can do that, who cares? And it's a very bad attitude. It's an attitude that's very prevalent in modern society. It's very prevalent in gaming. And it's an attitude we should be scared of, because as with games that are deleted and the way they treat people with live service games, therefore the grace of God go on. One day that could be something that we are signed into. One day that could be something that we've paid money for. One day that could be something we want, and it may not directly affect us. To be honest, it doesn't affect me at all. I've not really looked at Gaming Informer maybe years and years ago, but it's not something that affects me. But the idea of it affects me. And that's what bothers me, that it could be something I like next time. It could be Watch Dogs Legion, and they just decide to delete all the content from that offline, and you can't play it anymore unless you've got a physical copy. Who knows what it could be? But it could be, and it will be one day, something we care about, and it's important to care about things that are wrong, even if they don't affect us, because one day they will. Anyway, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. That's my little rant over. Until next time, take care.